Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 5 of the mini bike build. Yeah, I've got this thing up on the bench and I was actually getting ready to try and get it started up just to test the clutch out, and I realized I made a huge mistake. The way this is set up, this motor needs to be facing the other direction because it turns like this. And unless I want to drive a mini bike around backwards, that's not going to work. But it's not the end of the world. This is something I can remedy relatively easily, you know, considering I widened the frame out on both sides now. All I got to do is flip everything around to the other side. So I'm going to do the magic of YouTube thing, and I'm going to get the motor flipped around and get it basically back to this state, just in the right direction. All right, here we are. Got the motor turned around. It's just a matter of unbolting it. This torque converter situation is not ideal. I wanted it to come down here, but the oil fill is in the way here. I could cut this off and like JB weld it or something. I'm not like 100% sold on that idea. And I also think that it was kind of hitting the fins up here, which I could, you know, also clearance. And it kind of wanted to come down where this plate is a little bit too. But the way I have it now, it would be over here. So I'm not really too worried about that. I got the sprocket flipped around, really not a huge deal. The chain's going to be quite a bit longer, which I don't think is a huge deal. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The main issue is this exhaust. It now comes out directly between the chain. Yeah, I don't know. That may not be that big a deal. Maybe I could just wrap it with something. It's going to be pretty close to the torque converter and the belt. But I mean, it'll come out this way and then back. So I don't know. So here's the carburetor adapter I made. It's just for the air filter pretty much, but yeah, it's not really going to fit. So luckily it's just 3D printed. So I'm going to go back in and kind of edit my design. I'll just angle it out a little bit. That's a great thing about 3D printing is, you know, totally custom parts. Something like this, I mean, you wouldn't be able to buy this. There's nothing like it. The other option would have been, you know, just to put some rubber hose on here and kind of have this flopping around a bit more. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Okay, here's what I've decided to do. I'm going to take this side cover off and I'm going to cut this entire oil fill out, and then I will fill it with something. It's all part of the outer cover, so this way I'm not going to get a bunch of junk inside the motor, and yeah, I'll be able to shape this up good. I know there's some like aluminum brazing type rods. I've never used those. I may try them. Can't really hurt. Yeah, it's not under pressure or anything, and it's just got to, you know, hold the oil in. So I got it up here. You can see it hits. Now, to get this, I believe I'm going to have to also trim the edge of this torque converter plate. Not a huge deal, but it's got to be done. I think this will be a much better way to do it than having the torque converter straight up and down like that and all that extra chain. Okay, side cover's off. I did pretty much ruin the gasket, unfortunately, but that usually happens. So you can see on the inside, that shouldn't be too hard to fill in here. Okay, as you can tell by all the carnage, I have this cut off. It ain't super pretty, but it's pretty well flush. I have gone over this with 60 grit sandpaper and cleaned it off with carb cleaner. All right, onto the exhaust adapter. So this is the piece off the old muffler, and this is just some flat bar I got. I don't even remember what size it is. It's about the thickest stuff I have on hand, but it should be good enough for an exhaust pipe. Got me a hole saw. I'm gonna drill the hole in this before I cut it out, because there's pretty much no way once this is cut out that I'm gonna be able to drill a hole in there. All right, I got the main hole drilled. I got one other hole for a mounting flange that I'm going to take, and I'm going to bolt this on here, and that'll let me line up the other hole pretty easily. So I'll get that done, and then I'll work on cutting it out. Okay, it's been about a week. I got laid up with some strep throat pretty bad, but I'm back out here. I'm not quite over it, but I want to get a video out. I missed last week's video. So I think I left off doing the exhaust adapter, but I'm going to start off here doing fixing up this side cover. I think I showed most of this before. I've gone through and wiped everything off with paper towels, got it all cleaned up. I grabbed this JB water weld. No particular reason aside from that's what was available. They didn't have the stuff that cures gray. I watched the Project Farms video. He goes over a whole bunch of these things, and it looked like the JB stuff was about the best putty style. So I'm going to give it a shot, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, real quick here on the motor, I'm going to show you what I did. I took out the governor, so I plugged this hole here, and then there's another one in the cover you got to plug, and there's where I took out the secondary oil fill. I wish I had a TIG welder. I'd TIG that up, but that's gonna have to do for now. So I went ahead, I just made a gasket. I'm gonna get that on here. I gotta do a little bit more cleaning first, and then move on, finish up the exhaust, and then I'll bring it back when I got it back on the frame, and hopefully ready to fire. Okay, I got this thing mocked up. It's bolted down. I don't have a throttle assembly or nothing hooked up. I'll have to do that manually. I just want to get it running. I'm only going to let it run a little bit just to see what the clutch does and all that good stuff. So I still haven't tightened some stuff on the back tire yet, and I got a lot more to do, but I just want to see it run, and I think everybody's been waiting long enough. Well, there we go. First time I've had it running longer than just shooting some carb cleaner in there. Sounds okay. The throttle's a little wonky. We wanted to run with a lot of choke. Yeah, we got to see it run and move the back tire for us. So next on the agenda, I guess, I got to get the front end put back on here. Get a gas tank mount fabricated up. Obviously I got to get some kind of chain guard on here and probably a tensioner, and yeah, that exhaust has got to change a bit too. I got a cover for the torque converter, that'll go on a little bit later. So all right, thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody checking out the videos. Yeah, it really means quite a bit to me. Now if you go ahead and subscribe, and then maybe leave a comment saying you subscribed, and I'll try to say hi to you or something like that. Like the video, all that stuff helps. So we'll see you on the next one.